was working at UCLA, and we quickly bonded about the importance of this work, and we actually recruited him to come work at Berkeley. So we're thrilled to have him here as associate professor and leading this analysis today.
Thanks so much. I'm going to be pretty quick as well because I want to leave enough time for an excellent analysis that you'll see of the San Diego's breakthrough improvement relative to the rest of the state. And I'd like to give my colleague, Professor Brent Fulton, sufficient time for that. However, I'm really excited to share with you the trends from 2006 until 2014 measurement year, and covering the main measures that are relevant to the Right Care Initiative. So on this slide, as Arnie mentioned, as we can see, there's breakthrough improvement again, consistent, holding steady Kaiser Permanente North and South plans with respect to proportion of blood pressure patients with their blood pressure under control. So these are all patients, not just diabetic patients. And as you can see in the black dotted line, that's the national 90th percentile of performance among health plans. And you can see a pretty distinct trend or just pattern here in terms of the types of health plans that are doing well and those that aren't. So the Kaiser Permanente has an exclusive relationship pretty much with their provider groups, whereas Western Health Advantage and Sharp Health Plan have more exclusivity in their contracting relationships with providers as well. So it seems that the more control or leverage that a health plan has over providers, there seems to be at least a quality benefit that seems to be pretty clear here. And with our more network-based health plans, we see some challenges and consistent challenges over time in this segment of health plans. As you can see, probably due to small sample size, but also concerning is the Cignas and the Aetna health plans, which I know that Aetna in particular has really gone into the Medicaid area in the state. We don't have information about Medicaid necessarily, as the data isn't necessarily transparent. However, I think the patterns really underscore what Arnie Milstein has said about we see some breakthrough improvement, some great performance, but why aren't we spreading the high performance across health plans? So next slide, I'm trying to change. There we go. So Kaiser Permanente has consistently remained, I want you to take out your clickers on your table now, consistently remained the top performer in blood pressure control over time, with performance significantly above the 90th national percentile. What is preventing other California health plans from achieving the same level of performance? Is it other health plans' patients are more clinically complex and therefore difficult to treat? Do health plans, non-Kaiser health plans, face challenges making high blood pressure control a top priority among their contracted providers? Is it that KP's approach to improvement, this bundling of medication management for cardiovascular risk protection and organized systems of care for follow-up are not operationally feasible in the practices that these health plans contract with? Or is it that providers face insufficient incentives and penalties for providing evidence-based hypertension management? So for a vote, we have about 38 votes. I'm going to cut off when we're about 80. All right, we're going to cut off at 60. 70, there we go. All right. So this is a difficult question, and there's probably multiple options, but it seems that the winner here is that you all feel in the room pretty split. No one feels that these health plans have more clinically complex patients, which I think is probably, it's a good observation. And we see that over a third indicate that providers have sufficient incentives or penalties with regard to their performance on hypertension management. Also, about a third indicate that these innovations in Kaiser are not necessarily transportable to small practices or these other settings that these health plans generally contract with. And another, about 30% say health plans face challenges making blood pressure a top priority among their contracted providers. I don't think any of these are wrong. It's great to have a discussion about it, though, and I look forward to additional discussion about how we can move the needle on this blood pressure performance across the state through organizational learning and other means. As we can see here, in terms of diabetic care, in terms of blood pressure, blood sugar control less than 9%, HbA1c less than 9, we could see there is a lot of noise, a lot of bounciness in this measure, and it seems that HbA1c is much more difficult to have consistently high performance in across these health plans. As you could see, even the top performer in blood pressure control, Kaiser, is not necessarily at the top of the pack all of the time on this measure, indicating that this is an area, common area of difficulty across the health plans. When we look at diabetic blood pressure control, we could see top performance again among the Kaisers, and then the same pattern among diabetics for the Western Health Advantage and Sharp Health Plan, which tend to have more exclusive contracting relationships. We see the same pattern. As you can see, Cigna and other plans, smaller plans, tend to really not have any type of improvement in performance here. We do see a big spike in Blue Shield of California's performance back to 2012 levels. There was a blip in 2013. Among diabetic patients and blood sugar control, HbA1c control less than 8%, so a lower standard, we seem to have pretty flat performance, at least in the last year over time. We do see some declines in performance from 2012 to 2013, but we seem to be pretty stagnant in this area as well. So final poll question: what policy, if we had to shift our policies, would most likely contribute to improving California's performance to exceed the national 90th percentile of measures of cardiovascular risk? Would it be A, more intensive delivery system redesign? We need to shake up these practices in terms of providing the type of self-management support that's needed to do well here, or the medication management protocols. More intensive, so you get to vote twice. Only vote for A. You could skip B. I don't know how that happened. But C is more intensive performance transparency initiatives. So if we just had more data and we're showcasing and comparing performance, we'll move the needle for everyone through legitimacy pressures. D is incentives and support for patients to change their behavior. So we should pay patients for their improvement in order to move the needle. And health plan and provider consolidation. Big systems, organized systems are going to do better at this. Or I have an idea and I'd like to share. We'll stop at... Hands up. Let me see. All right. We're going to stop at 670 here. A couple more votes. All right, let's stop. So about a third say more intensive delivery system redesign, and about a third indicate that incentives and support for patients to change their health behaviors will move the needle. This is something that we haven't in the Right Care Initiative explored, so I look forward to engaging conversations throughout the day about some of these strategies, and really look forward to understanding how you can contribute to moving the needle for our patients in California. Thank you. I'm turning now to Brent.